Good evening. Our election coverage continues.
The race results are coming in at this hour. They're scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Right now, we do want to check in on the race for governor. We're going to pull up those numbers. You can see with 67% reporting, Tony Evers is up 50% over Governor Scott Walker, 48% right now.
Our crews are there live. We are going to go with Kent Wainscott, who is at the Walker camp. For the latest update, Derek Rose is covering the Evers camp, but let's begin with Kent.
Well, I can tell you that everybody in this room is hanging on those numbers, watching them as they come in. The crowd continues to grow here at the Walker Campaign Party in Waukesha County. Senator Ron Johnson arriving here just a short time ago. He was among the many high-profile Wisconsin Republicans who campaigned with Governor Walker during these final days of the campaign, crisscrossing the state, trying to get the message out, touting the governor's record on the economy, and hoping that that would be enough to win over Republican voters, to get them out to the polls. This, of course, is the hotbed of Republican voters here in Waukesha County. The governor holding this campaign event in the same room where he has held other events on nights when he has seen successful results in an election. Folks hoping here for the same thing this evening, but seeing those numbers with the governor trailing by the most narrow of margins at this point, and hoping that he is able to pull it out here in the end, holding out hope, but being cautiously optimistic. A sense of anxiety, anxiousness here in the room, but still some hopefulness here as well. Reporting live in Waukesha County, I'm Kent Wainscott, WISN 12 News.
And at this point, about 40,000 votes separate the two, with Evers ahead. Derek Rose is live in Madison with the Tony Evers campaign.
Derek, what's the mood like there?
Very celebratory here. In fact, just a few minutes ago, right before you went to Kent, at the top of the hour, you heard a loud applause here and cheer. That's because on the screen it was projected that Democrats would take control of the House in Washington, D.C. The reason that is so encouraging for the folks here, because they have been sensing and hoping for this blue wave, and they have seen a lot of the races swing from Republican to Democrat, and they're hoping that is what happens here tonight with Tony Evers. We have not seen Evers come out here just yet, but a lot of his supporters are here, a lot of them enthusiastic, saying that there's specific issues that brought them to the polls, specifically health care. That's been one of the main issues, they say, that has brought them out to the poll. Also, they say that the votes today were also a statement against President Donald Trump at the local and the national level. So still a lot of excitement here at the Tony Evers campaign, at the watch party. There haven't been really any down moments. They have had some booing as they saw Republican candidates being projected as winners all over the map, but they are excited and they are still hoping for a win tonight, even though they know it could be a long night. Live in Madison, I'm Derek Rose, WISN 12 News.
We're prepared. We have a team analyzing these results as they come in tonight. Mike Goucher has a county-by-county breakdown of the numbers. Adrian Pedersen and Sally Kidd are monitoring nationwide races and the balance of power, and Aixa Diaz has a closer look at President Trump's role in the midterm elections.
And right now we want to check in once again with our Mike Goucher, who joins us here on the set. And Mike, I need to ask for your opinion as the governor's numbers come in.
The governor's numbers are probably just a little less than what he'd like in certain key counties for him. And Tony Evers' numbers are probably a little bit better than he would have maybe even expected in a couple of the key counties. So this race is very close, and we're still waiting for some important counties that still have quite a few votes to be counted yet. They have not weighed in, and that's gonna have a big impact on this race.
And the only governor to successfully win a third term previously was Tommy Thompson.
Absolutely.
And this is what Scott Walker wants, to win yet another term. And as you look at the numbers in the county right. breakdown, has his strength been in those wow counties, Waukesha, Ozaukee, and Washington counties? Has it been as strong as it's been in the past?
It's been, we've been watching that, Joyce. It's a great question, because in Waukesha County, that's the county with the most Republican votes in the state, really. If you look at that and you see that right now, you see that Scott Walker has about 66% of the votes. Most of the votes have been counted. 4 years ago, had 73% of the votes. And so that's a big difference between, 7 percentage points, a big difference in a county that you're counting on, maxing out the margin. So in that county, Pretty, maybe not the news Scott Walker wanted. Washington County, very similar to 4 years ago. Very strong, about 3/4 of the folks in Washington County saying we want Scott Walker to have another term.
All right, we know you'll stay on that. Thank you, Mike. Patrick.
In the race for U.S. Senate, incumbent Tammy Baldwin is the projected winner, securing re-election to a second term. Here's a closer look at the numbers right now. We're going to pull those up for you. And you can see with 55%, actually, she got 55% of the vote with 68% reporting. She's up 55% to 45%. And a crowd gathered tonight to help Baldwin celebrate the win.
Ben Wagner is live with that crowd in Madison at the Orpheum. Ben.
And Patrick and Joyce, the crowd has died down just a little bit here at the Monona Terrace in Madison, but it is still a celebratory crowd. People are feeling good here after that victory was announced early here in the evening. The doors hadn't even opened here at the ballroom while those numbers were announced. Now, Tammy Baldwin took the podium here about 45 minutes ago now, thanking staffers and thanking her supporters for coming out tonight. She said that her campaign staff actually told me that over the last 4 days, they knocked on more than 500,000 doors among 10,000 volunteers. In that speech, though, she referenced corporate interests trying to buy this election, as she put it. And she also was able to explain how she was able to win this race and what she was working toward. Take a listen.
For us, it wasn't simply a political fight. It was a fight about doing what's right. And for me, it's always been about doing right by Wisconsin.
And again, Baldwin also spent $24 million of her own campaign money here. They are still cheering every time that her name comes up on these big screens as those numbers still keep coming in here tonight. So we are live here in Madison. We'll be staying around here in Madison for the evening. I'm Ben Wagner, WISN 12 News.
All right, thanks very much, Ben. We're going to go to 12 News' Caroline Reinwald live in Pewaukee with Leah Vukmir's campaign. Caroline, we heard earlier Vukmir talk about how proud she was of the campaign that she ran.
That's right, Joyce, we did, and you can see here still a couple hundred, at least several hundred people here behind me at Vukmir's campaign event. I want you to take a look at a video that we shot earlier while Vukmir was, of course, giving her concession speech, conceding to her rival Democrat Tammy Baldwin for the U.S. Senate seat. In her speech, Vukmir talked about being the underdog in this race and getting outspent in campaign finances, and throughout her campaign, Vukmir has clashed with Baldwin over health care issues, criticizing the Democrat for voting against tax cuts, saying she would, quote, fall in front of a truck before she let people go without coverage for pre-existing conditions. In her concession speech tonight, she told her supporters here, with her kids by her side on stage, that she was very proud of the race they ran and would not change it for anything.
I tried to call Senator Baldwin a little while ago to concede and congratulate her, and even though we don't see eye to eye on the issues, to say the least, she ran a hard-fought race. But I certainly have enjoyed debating her over the last few months.
And we're still working to see if Vukmir will come and speak to us personally here over by the media staging area. People here at the event tonight saying that they do not believe Baldwin can get the job done. Not excited about the results here tonight. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Caroline, roughly 200,000 votes separate the two right now. We're also monitoring several big national races tonight.
Adrian Pedersen is watching over election results in key races across the country. And Adrian, you're really keeping a close eye on the balance of power.
That's right. And Patrick, I have some big updates since we last talked.
Okay.
So I do want to tell you right now, we have pulled up the Senate balance of power here. So ABC projecting that Republicans will keep control of the Senate. Right now, they have 50. That is enough to get the majority. I also want to talk about the House. Now, this is big. ABC News, where we stand. ABC is saying that Democrats have control of the House. Republicans have control of the Senate. Here you're seeing the House right now. This is real-time information. I also want to talk to you about a big governor's governor's race that's happening in Florida. We've been talking about this. We know that this is a hotly contested race. Well, now ABC is projecting that the Republican Ron DeSantis just beat Democratic challenger. That was Andrew Gillum. Now, Gillum was trying to be the state's first black governor, but again, ABC is projecting that DeSantis won this one.
A lot at stake across the country tonight. You're going to keep an eye on it for us, Adrian.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's go back to the U.S. Congress here in Wisconsin. The race to replace the 1st congressional district, that seat currently held by Paul Ryan, who has decided not to run anymore, in a battle between two political newcomers, Democrat Randy Bryce and Republican Ryan Steil. Ryan Steil has won the race. He declared victory earlier. 97% of the vote in, 54 to 43% over Randy Bryce. And we have crews at both candidates' campaign headquarters.
We'll start with Nick Bohr at the Steil camp in Burlington. Nick?
Hey, Patrick, and Brian Steil has certainly been making the rounds here, getting selfies and getting congratulations. You can see he's out in the crowd right now, continuing those congratulations. He thanked this crowd a few minutes ago for the trust and confidence that they've placed in him. He said it's a victory for economic prosperity and less red tape, he says, and smaller government. And he says it's a big victory for securing access to affordable health care. He also said he was congratulated by Paul Ryan a short time ago. He says that this is a win, not just for him, but for Wisconsin.
I will work to represent everyone, to represent you with dignity and honor. I believe that every problem has a solution. A Wisconsin-style solution.
Now, sharing a little bit more with me about that conversation with Paul Ryan, he said he congratulated him and went on to say that he is certainly honored to be replacing Paul Ryan in Congress after Ryan's 20 years in Congress. Of course, Steil and Ryan both from the same hometown in Janesville. So it's a party we continue to follow here throughout the evening, and they are certainly enjoying things here in Burlington. Reporting live, Nick Bohr, WISN 12 News.
All right, Nick, thank you. And we also heard from Randy Bryce moments ago. Terry Sater is live at the Bryce campaign in Racine.
Terry, Bryce actually mentioned Paul Ryan in his comments earlier. He said we at least successfully chased Paul Ryan away.
Well, that's right, and Democrats hoped that Randy Bryce had a winning working-class message here in a district that has been held by Republicans for more than 20 years. But he's a union iron worker with an Army veteran background, and also he had several arrests in his background. And in the end, voters answered the question about whether he could win. Let's listen to part of Randy Bryce's concession speech.
And it's about not being a backdrop anymore, not having working people be the backdrop, but actually coming up and grabbing the microphone, because it's about time that we're heard.
So this message that Randy Bryce brought to this campaign was about working class people being able to take on a powerful Republican juggernaut. He said he was pretty proud of the effort here, but again, he had to concede tonight. Live in Racine County, Terry Sater, WISN 12 News.
All right, Terry, we have more results we want to take a look at. For State Attorney General, the incumbent Brad Schimmel is facing off against Democratic challenger Josh Kaul. With 69% of the precincts reporting, you can see how tight that race is. Kaul up 50 to 49%.
And now let's go back to the governor's race. You can see with 71% of the precincts reporting, Tony Evers is up 50% to 48% for Scott Walker.
Our election coverage is just getting started tonight.
And a reminder, we have the full list of results scrolling at the bottom of your screen. You can also get all the latest election information on our website, WISN.com.
It's been a rainy and windy election day in southeast Wisconsin.
Mark, the rain has moved out for now, though?
Yeah, but soon it will be replaced with snow. I'm timing out when we could see some slippery roads next to Weather Watch 12.
Toyota sets a high